Welcome to A Balanced Life on the Go. I'm Dr. Nicole Lindsay, your host on this podcast, along with Dr. Brian Jeanette. This is a podcast designed to help connect you to a more balanced life on the go. Each week, we will bring you simple, concise, and easy to implement ideas, tips, and strategies to help you connect to better nutrition, movement, and thinking so you can achieve balance in your busy life. Isn't this what life is all about? Trying to achieve balance so that we can be healthy, happy, and live to our fullest potential. We're glad you joined us. Let's get started. Welcome to Balanced Life on the Go. This is episode 1 of our podcast. I am Dr. Nicole Lindsay.
And I'm Dr. Brian Jeanette.
And we are chiropractors in Asheville, North Carolina at Back and Balance. And we are so excited to be bringing you our very first episode of this podcast because we know health.
We do.
We consider ourselves health nuts. And I think you have to be a chiropractor, really.
I think it's in the cards. Like you definitely have to know health, and I think more importantly, you have to live health.
Absolutely, and we do that. And we wanted to give you a little bit of information about us. You may not know us. You may know us in the community. You may be a patient, or you may not. Anybody's welcome to listen to these. So I've been practicing in Asheville, North Carolina since 2001, and I focus on corrective care and inspiring people to take healthy action.
I like that. I've been practicing in Asheville since 2016, and my primary focus is based on movement quality and education. I've also been coaching CrossFit for the last 5 years, and I still coach here in Asheville. And so it's one of my passions to help educate people on better movement quality and more education on how to live that healthy, active lifestyle.
Yes, it's important. It all fits in to the balance of the individual. We're going to talk about that more. But we are definitely really in tune with natural health. We eat right. I've been gluten-free for 7 years and try and eat a very balanced, healthy diet. How about you? You are the king of eating clean.
I eat pretty clean. I don't like it when I eat unhealthy, bad food because I'm very sensitive to bad food. And if it's bad, I'll know it's bad immediately. I'll know it's bad because my body's going to tell me that it's bad. So it's very important to me to feel my best all the time.
We are also really into, as Dr. Brian said, moving right and keeping that in our life and finding time for it. So I also go to the gym and do CrossFit. Dr. Brian is a coach, which is awesome. We're big into thinking right, setting goals, journaling, goal setting, constantly growing, and also doing body work ourselves, getting adjusted.
Absolutely.
Massages, a lot of soft tissue work. We bring that into our practice every day.
If I didn't get adjusted, I don't know what kind of sorry state I'd be in.
I hear you, brother. Absolutely. So we're always striving to grow and learn more. And our purpose is not only to help people get relief from aches and pains, from injuries and things like that, but also to inspire people to become healthier, to start doing healthier things for themselves, their families. I love seeing that light bulb go off in people. So I know that once they get that aha moment, when they learn something new and they're inspired to start really introducing healthier things into their life's going to change. So that's really our purpose in doing this podcast as well, is to find a way to help you balance your life so you can be as healthy as you can be. So before we jump in, we need to know what color socks are you wearing today, Dr. Brian?
All right, I chose a very special pair of socks. This is actually my second favorite pair of socks that I have. And it has a scene of nature. It's got some pine trees overlooking the mountains with a body of water. It's very Asheville.
Perfect for
it's
today.
Very, very Western North Carolina.
In fact, I feel very balanced looking at them right now.
You should be balanced looking at them. I mean,
Awesome. So, yeah, every week we will be bringing you what colored socks Dr. Brian's wearing because they're always so very interesting.
There's a hot button news issue that people need to know.
People want to know. People want to know. So, what is this podcast all about?
So this podcast is all about all we want to do is help educate and bring knowledge to those who want to hear, to those who are listening right now, how to live a balanced life on the go.
Yeah, it seems like our world is just not slowing down, right? This world,
It's only getting faster.
It is. It's such a fast-paced world, so we tend to become very disconnected to health, to things that make us feel good and grow healthier tissue from the inside out. So we want to bring you back to that. We want to connect you to a healthier life that you can certainly have in this crazy fast-paced world that we live in. So each week we're going to pick a topic that revolves around helping you live a balanced life on the go. And in addition to dialoguing and giving you really practical information, because as you'll find from us is that we want to give you very do level stuff, things that you can implement right away. In addition, we're going to give you one thing that you can implement now and start taking action so that you can create more balance on the go.
And one of the reasons why we just want to give you one thing to implement is also to remind you that you are capable of being healthy. We always have all these roadblocks or barriers that prevent us to being healthy or prevent us from being healthy. So we want to remind you that you have the capability and the capacity to be healthy, and you deserve to be the healthiest that you can be.
Yeah, it's funny how people get in a rut and they think that this is their life forever. This is their diagnosis. This is how they're going to feel. And it's not true. It doesn't have to be.
Becomes your new identity.
For sure. So we want to help change that for you. In addition, once a month, we're going to bring another healthcare leader in the community and sometimes outside of our community that is going to help bring information regarding natural, healthy living to help you gain more knowledge and also more resources so that you can achieve this balanced life on the go. So that's exciting. We have a list of people already that I'm excited to bring on here and interview.
So the list is only growing.
Absolutely. So why did we choose the name Balanced Life on the Go?
We chose the name Balanced Life on the Go for so many reasons. One of the primary reasons that we chose it on the go is that you often find yourself, when you are on the go, unbalanced, right? You forget your lunch at home, or if you get to pack the kids' lunch, or if you forget, this and that. You feel very unprepared for the day. And what happens when you feel unbalanced, in your life, your body starts to get unbalanced. Whether that's a movement thing, whether that is a poor nutrition, or you're not sleeping well. All these things tend to add up to each other.
Yeah, everything means something too. So, but let's just look at the definition of balance. It's been a while since I've looked at that word. I was probably a kid the first time I looked at that word. So we actually pulled it up here, and the definition is a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions.
And I think the last part of that definition is so important, correct proportions, because every little piece that we have in our lives are so important, but some outweigh others.
Definitely.
And we can't forget to add back in those things that might weigh less.
Yeah, or different times in your life. I know prior to having a child, my life was very different. My priorities were different. And now it seems like I am, you're, as a parent, you're pulled in one direction. So balance is different. There were times where I said, there's no such thing as balance. Balance does not exist because you're pulled. It's the yin and yang. You're pulled in one direction. You have to focus on that, give that attention. And then when you have time, you're pulled in another direction. So Yeah, it's not always, balance is not always about having equal time to do everything, to focus on everything. It's just about being in the correct proportion.
And I think you said it best. It is about yin and yang and being pulled in one direction, but also making sure that you get pulled in that other direction to help balance it out. You keep pulling in one direction your entire life, you're gonna go around in circles.
Yeah, for sure. And there are times where you do need to focus more on one thing versus another. I know I go through phases myself where I want to really get physically as fit as I can, as I want to push myself. Now, I know when I do that, it's going to require more time in the gym. And that's less time for my business or less time for other things that I want to work on. But that's okay because that's what I'm choosing to work on at that time. So I think that's important too, is that you can constantly switch your focus on different things in your life, and that's okay too.
I actually think you have to. I think you have to constantly switch up where you focus your attention and how you prioritize things, because you can't spend 85 years of your life only prioritizing one thing, because then that would be unbalanced. Everything is a cyclical. It comes and goes. It's up and down. So you have to focus. You're focusing on, when you had a child, you focus on your daughter. I don't have a child, so I don't have to focus on that. When I do have kids,
And that's why he's ripped right now with his popping out of his shirt.
Yeah, I have a lot of time to go to the gym because I don't have to focus on that.
I have a feeling you'll figure that out, though. You'll figure out how, and once he has a child, we'll make sure we do a podcast about that.
Yeah, but this is the important thing, is you figure out things that are important to you, but you also have to figure out those things that are important that you don't necessarily love. I love fitness. I love exercise and moving, and because I love it, I make it a priority to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But there are some other things that I don't love: doing the dishes, doing laundry, paying bills. But those are equal priority. But I have to find the time. I have to make the priority to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's really cool is that your body is actually always trying to achieve balance as well. And, we call that homeostasis. That is a term we learned in chiropractic school. And you also learn it in science class, I think maybe in high school. But that is where your body is always trying to achieve balance. Down to the cellular level, this is happening. So it's funny that we strive to do that in our lives, and our bodies are doing it as well.
Mm-hmm. Your body's never on cruise control. You're on a really flat piece of land. You're on cruise control. You're going that constant 55 miles an hour all the time. Your body's not like that. Your body's constantly going up, going down, going up, going down, and it's trying to find that balance to survive and to stay alive, and even to thrive at any point in time.
Yeah, like a perfect example is body temperature. We know that the perfect body temperature is it's a certain number, and when you go out into the cold, and your body temperature is going to have to adjust for that. And there's a lot of things that go on inside of your body, internally, physiologically, as your body's adapting to this colder temperature or hot temperature, either way. So your body is trying to respond to that, to maintain this balance, this homeostasis all the time. I have a friend and colleague who we're actually going to interview. He's a business owner. Was telling me that he was working out in the cold a couple days ago, and his body got really cold and came inside, and a number of things happened. But as a result of being out in the cold and getting that chill, he then got sick that night. And that's what happens sometimes when the body can't adjust to what's going on. We tend to get out of balance, and then things like illnesses, viruses, bacteria can then grow in an imbalanced internal environment, and then we can get sick.
Mm-hmm. You become more susceptible to disease and like you said, virus, colds, flus, headaches, whatever have you, when you're not balanced. But this is the beauty of the body, is it's constantly trying to find balance. But it's hard for people to find balance in their busy lives. I think one of the best examples of that is technology that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Technology speeds up so many things that we do. We feel in such a rush to do everything all the time.
Yeah, we do. I know. And we'll never be able to keep up. That's the thing. But the irony is that this faster technology is there to supposedly help us have more balance, to make things easier on us. And although it does in some respects, it creates a lot of imbalance because we are spending way too much time on this stuff.
It starts to consume you.
It totally consumes our kids, our lives at work, and we can't live without it. But too much is not a good thing, and then it becomes hard to balance out. Going back to the body and the body temperature, one of the things that can happen, for example, a child with a fever, there's always ways to right the wrong, and the body tries to do that. When your child or you has a fever, what the body is trying to do is raise the temperature to kill off whatever is growing in the body at that time, which is very cool that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, what do we do when we have a fever?
We take Tylenol and try and lower it.
We lower it, and that continues to keep that body at a certain temperature, which allows that virus or that bacteria to continue growing, which is not necessarily the best thing.
Yeah. Your body is a lot smarter than your mind is. I'll tell you that right now. Your body's always right, and you have to listen to your body.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really always does know what it's doing.
It knows what's best.
Now, of course, if the fever gets too high, I mean, we definitely need to take a little something, but it's okay to let that fever run its course and just keep monitoring it, and you'll be surprised how much faster you will get over your sickness if you let that fever just go and burn up whatever it is that the body's trying to get rid of to get you back in balance.
And that's a whole other podcast that we have about taking Tylenol to lower your fever and how that slows down that healing process. So that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother thing that we can talk about.
Definitely. But when you think about the balance, you look at some people handle it really well. There's people that are running 3, 4, 5 different companies. They seem to be okay with everything. They're fit. Mm-hmm. They work out. They have marriages. They have children. But yet you have one 40-hour-a-week job. You may not even be married. Don't have any children yet, and yet you're struggling.
Sometimes you feel like you're drowning.
Right. You don't even have time to work out. Or eat right. So why do some people manage to handle this and some not?
See, I think that these people that can handle it really well have either knowingly or unknowingly set up the proper systems in place so they can handle and manage all this stress. They can handle and manage all these different avenues that are coming in at the same time. And people that don't have systems in place are the ones that feel like they don't have any time. I can't work out. I don't have any time. I can't eat right because I can't go to the grocery, or I don't know how to cook this food, or there's 3,700 different excuses or I guess maybe not excuses, examples in the book, right? Because some of that is education. Yeah. Or lack of knowledge on how to do it.
Right.
I'm a terrible cook. I'd probably go hungry if my wife didn't cook for me. I'll tell you that.
I find that hard to believe. As clean as you eat, that's hard to believe.
I guess I would eat a lot more boring, tasteless stuff.
I will say that most of this stuff is learned. As far as knowing how to manage your time management, a lot of that is learned. But I will say that I think that there's a big component of self-discipline. That is something that you either have or you don't. You know what I mean? And if you don't have it, doesn't mean that you can't have it. Doesn't mean forget it, shut this podcast off, this is not for you, you're never going to have balance in your life. It means you're going to have to work at it and create patterns for yourself, create more discipline and boundaries, and stay focused.
I think the important thing to distinguish here is that when we say self-discipline, we don't mean that you have to be disciplined, meaning you have to be the best and brightest at it. That's not what self-discipline is. Self-discipline is making sure that you are continuously going through the movements in order to reach a certain goal. And now that might mean that you take a step toward a certain goal, but then you falter. That was a misstep, right? But it takes that self-discipline.
Here's an example.
To continue going.
Yeah, you wake up and you know that you typically work out every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. and you have your gym partners that you work with that are counting on you to be there. And you wake up and you say, you know what, I don't feel like working out today, I'm not going to go, and you don't go. That's lacking self-discipline. When you have nothing in your way that should be stopping you right now, but you just don't want to go because you don't feel like it. So another thing would be if you have a perfectly healthy leftover meal with you that you bring to work, and instead of eating that for lunch, which is healthy, there's nothing wrong with it, you decide to go out to lunch with everybody and grab a burger and fries. So that, again, is another example of lacking self-discipline. No, you bring your lunch with you. If you want to go out for a social thing, bring it with you and go sit at the restaurant, eat your lunch. I mean, it's not fun, but at least you're not missing out. But this is what discipline is all about, is first of all, knowing where you want to go, having that goal, whether it's I want to hit the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and then committing to that.
Exactly, and going off that gym goal, the self-discipline tells you to wake up and go do it, and just go. You've already accomplished half of the goal of going to the gym, is waking up and getting there. And there's another thing about how hard you want to work while you're there. But if you had zero motivation to get up, it's snowing outside, we just got 17 inches of snow like they're calling for.
I hope so.
The gym is still open. You know that you should go, but you're trying to find excuses. Go. And that's where that discipline comes in. You don't have to be the best person in the gym. You don't have to be the fastest or the strongest.
Just gotta show up.
Just gotta show up. Or at work. You don't have to run the best meeting. You don't have to
What are you saying?
You run great meetings all the time.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But it's that discipline to do what you said that you were going to do. And I think that leads into kind of integrity over it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the other thing too is the desire to grow, the desire to be better. If you have no desire to be healthier, to feel better, to have more energy, to be a better mother, father, spouse, boss, coworker, then, okay, you're just not going to, you know what I mean? And some people do go through life like that. Yeah. There is that.
We should probably talk if that's you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do a podcast for you. But if you have any desire to be better, then self-discipline needs to be next in line, next to that desire, I feel. And then the time management books and strategies. And one of my favorites is Brian Tracy's book on time management. Mm-hmm. Love that. I got so much out of that. And we'll do some podcasts on that too. But that's a good resource for learning how to get better time management in your life that you can use for, not just for business, you can use it for personal stuff, for helping, eat better, and just creating systems in your life that make you a better person.
Absolutely.
Overall.
It's a really easy read. We have it in the office, so you can see a copy of it if you just ask us.
Yeah. So now we're at the point where we've talked about balance, we've talked about busy life, and the importance of creating more balance in your life on the go, because let's face it, you can't stop life. You can't stop and say, you know what, I'm gonna work on myself today and I'm gonna put everything else aside. We can't do that. We have to figure it out while it's moving, while it's going forward. So we want to give you one simple thing that you can start working on right now in regards to balance, that you can help yourself create more balance in your life.
When we talk about this one simple thing, it truly is one of the most simple things that we can do. And it's carve out time in your day for you. Sometimes sometimes you might have 5 minutes in your day. Sometimes you might have 20 minutes or even an hour in your day. But carve out time, set aside that for you and nobody else but you.
In order to make this a habit, we were talking about discipline, self-discipline. Studies show that if you do it for 30 days in a row, it's more likely to become a habit. So what I recommend doing, what I've done for myself, is in your calendar on your phone. Put it in. What day, what time of the day, because you're going to do this every day. So what time of the day are you going to do this? Is it in the morning before everybody gets up, before your family wakes up? Is it going to be at lunchtime, at night, when everybody goes to bed and you have some you time? What time of the day are you going to do this? And put it in your calendar as an event with a 10-minute reminder. Because believe me, you will forget to do this. So have reminders to help you so that you can create this habit in your life.
Put it in your schedule. If it's not in your schedule, you won't do it. If you don't make time for it, you won't do it. If you sit there and wish and hope and think that you may have time one day this week to do it, you're probably not going to have time to do it. I'll tell you that I do this for myself every morning. And it's when I wake up and my wife is still asleep. And in that time when I'm waking up, I have about an hour, maybe 45 minutes until she wakes up. But I wake up early and I'm in the kitchen making my breakfast, making coffee, and I can just sit down and kind of relax and not feel stressed for the day, not feel like I'm rushing to get my chores done, to get changed, brush my teeth, get out the door, fight traffic, get in the office, do all this stuff. I take that 45 minutes and I go slow.
Yeah, it's the reason why we picked this as the one thing is because many times people go through life giving of themselves for everybody else constantly. They're doing for their spouse, they're doing for their boss, they're doing for their family, they're doing for their kids, and they don't do for themselves. And this goes on for days, for weeks, for years.
Decades.
Yeah, and nothing done for you. And then we wonder why we're out of shape. We wonder why we don't feel good and we're tired and we have fatigue and we don't work out and we're depressed and anxiety. Number one health problem in our country, anxiety. We wonder why. So that's why we chose this. Yes, it's simple. And what can you do during this time? What do we mean when we say carve out me time or you time? Well, what is it that you want to do? Is it a book, maybe a trashy novel that you never get time to read, that you want to read? Do that. Sit down and curl up and do that. Is it make a cup of hot tea and just relax and not think of anything? Is it journaling? That's something I like to do. I like to write down my goals, my dreams, my aspirations. I also like to do my to-do list because that makes me feel good to be organized. That 20 minutes that you carve out for you is you time. So you use it how you see fit. There's no right, there's no wrong. It could be simply loving on your pets. Mm-hmm. Something you want to do for you. So that is our podcast for today. Life is going to keep on going. So we have to figure out how to balance our life on the go. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode as we bring you more healthy information on how you can live a balanced life on the go. Thank you.
Thank you.